Yeah, so I finished Friends and I watched the Friends reunion today.
Nice.
So I am done with Friends. That is
Forever.
Pretty much. I don't anticipate ever watching the series again. It was a rough. I did identify the worst episode though.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, hands down the worst episode. Because usually on the episodes there's
save it for the show.
Well, I wasn't going to talk about it on the show.
Oh, you're not? Okay, then go for it.
Yeah. I was saying, near the end, last few seasons, one episode, or during an episode, usually one or two of the characters would really stand out as being really annoying. It's like they were the kind of second, usually like always felt like it was the second thought of that episode's plot, it was like they focus more on the other characters.
Yeah, like the B story.
Yeah. So, but this particular episode, everybody's character seemed just so like it's just ridiculous, especially Monica. But it's just so stupid. It was kind of a big episode in a sense. It's Phoebe's wedding, but it was so stupid.
Phoebe's wedding? Oh, with Mike.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice, touching send off and stuff, but everybody's part in it was so stupid. Mm-hmm. Everybody's character didn't have anything good to do, and Monica's was the worst because she was being the wedding planner and being total like a nightmare.
That was the one where she had the headset, right?
Yeah,
I remember.
It was so stupid.
I think we're in like season 6 or 7, and it's starting. Like I can feel it starting. Some episodes are not fun anymore. Yeah. Where I feel like the first couple of seasons, like there's something really good and funny in every episode.
Yeah.
But then you start finding some that don't meet that, and we're kind of in that section right now.
Yeah. So. And I mean,
I don't anticipate ever watching the series again after finishing it this time. It feels like this watch through, it's kind of lost its luster.
A bit. I agree.
Finally dated.
A bit. I mean, I don't know. I think the style of comedy, I think for the style of comedy that it did a really good job with it. But I also think that style of comedy is a little dated, a little, that style of writing sitcoms and stuff. Because that basically, when that left and Seinfeld left, the comedy landscape for television kind of changed, and that's when like kind of The Office was ushered in, and that style.
Parks and Rec, 30 Rock. Yeah, that was kind of like the next generation.
There's kind of like a lull in between there of a couple of years where things just didn't seem like there's, that 70s show was shortly around that time as well, and stuff like that. So
I think that 70s show was pretty much dead parallel with Friends.
Was it?
Yeah.
At the same time?
Yeah.
That kind of fell apart too.
Yeah, it did. Well, I mean,
that one fell apart when he left.
Yeah, Eric, the like I'm blanking on the actor's name.
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace. When he was like, you know what, this is done, and he left. He was right. It was done. And when he left, it just solidified that.
I think that show could have been okay a little longer if they hadn't added that extra character. Because they tried to replace him with what's his name's brother,
Hyde's brother,
talk show host.
Oh yeah, talk show host.
Yeah. Not Hyde's brother. Who's like in real life, the talk show host is late night talk show host.
Jimmy Fallon, Conan O'Brien.
No, lesser than them.
Adam Carolla.
No, he was on one of the major networks.
No,
I keep wanting to say Seth Green.
Oh, Craig Kilborn?
No. Now I gotta look the guy up.
Craig Ferguson?
No, younger than that.
Jesus, we're naming them all.
Yeah.
Johnny Carson?
Exactly.
Arsenio Hall?
Come on now. Don't be ridiculous.
That's all this show is.
Yeah, this is true. Let's see, season. It was Josh Myers, Seth Meyers' brother.
Oh, Josh Myers. That's right. I remember they brought him in. That's right.
Yeah, and he
was on Mad TV.
I would have never gotten there.
Yeah,
no, I never.
Horrible.
I forgot.
If they had just written the show without trying to replace, like just let the other characters grow a little bit, it could have been okay. Although I think the season before that, maybe it was falling off a little too.
Is that a High School Musical picture? I don't know. What am I looking at there, Alex?
You'll find out when I talk about it.
That
I'll leave High
is
School
Jolt.
Musical.
That is Jolt on Amazon Prime.
Indeed,
Haven't
it
watched
is.
it yet. I have not watched it yet, but Kate Beckinsale is okay.
She's definitely okay.
He's all right.
She's more than all right, sir. You watch your tongue.
Yeah. You know what, Dre? I don't like your attitude.
Welcome to the All Pop No Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Opie, and I'm joined, as always, by Kevin,
Hello.
Pete,
Good evening.
David,
Hello.
and Alex.
Hi. Really mixing up the order, huh?
Well, I'm just going around as I see it on my screen.
Oh, is that how you're doing?
Yeah. That's usually how I do it. I didn't know. Do I usually do you second?
We've always had to set order for like a long.
Kevin,
time.
Alex, Pete, and David.
Yeah.
No, I'm always last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Kevin,
Yeah.
Alex, David, Pete.
Yeah.
That's the.
It was.
I shall never make that mistake again.
I think it's funny.
I
that
was
you
ready to
didn't
say
realize you had
hello,
an
and then
order.
it just.
I generally just go around the screen. It's
That's
too
perfect.
hard for me to
Everybody was
remember
confused.
in order.
Let's mix it
It's
up.
not like I say this every week. Well, if you're new to the show, apparently I fucked up the intro a little bit.
No, it was
but, hey,
perfect.
you know,
I loved it.
it is what it is. But we are a pop culture center podcast, primarily talking about movies and television, occasionally some video game talk, but we'll go through our weekly viewing, in this case 2 weeks since we did not record last week, of any pertinent shows that we're watching, anything worth mentioning, and then we also go through some franchise movie selections that we are assigned by the spin of a wheel. And this week we will be hearing from David with Indiana Jones. What are you on? Temple of Doom?
Nope. Raiders of the Lost Ark starting.
Oh, you just started it. Okay.
Yep.
So Raiders of the Lost Ark. And Kevin has the Sean Connery 007 franchise, and he is just this side of the midway point with what's this one?
You Only Live Twice?
You Only Live Twice, 1967. So got a good idea what that one's going to be about. I have the Lethal Weapon franchise. I'm 2 in. Have not watched another one since for a few weeks because of a video game. And Pete, you have, remind me. Anytime.
There we go.
Can't remember.
What's your franchise, Pete?
Jesus.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was frozen. You guys were all frozen. I didn't hear what was going on. I've got the Mission Impossibles.
That's right. And yet you have not started that.
No, I probably won't start until the Olympics are over.
Oh, the Olympics. That's right.
Yeah.
It's happening right now.
Okay. And Alex, you have not started High School Musical, which
Not sure why I would. I don't have that franchise.
yes, you do have a franchise. You always deny. You're such a denier. That's what should be your nickname on the show.
Okay.
All right. So this week we will kind of do a recap of the last couple weeks. So one thing that we've all been watching and we'll be talking about, which is a little week stale, I guess, is the season finale of Loki. To which Pete, looks like you binge watched that this whole last week.
Yeah.
Had you not watched any of it yet?
No, I watched the whole thing, but after watching the series, since we wound up skipping a week when we were going to talk about last week, I had some time and I was like, I'm just going to watch the whole thing because the girls hadn't watched all the episodes. I had been watching it, so we sat down and watched the whole thing. And you want to jump right into Loki?
No, I was just curious. I thought you had watched them.
Yeah, no, I watched them as they were coming.
So, but yeah, we talk about Loki as far as something we've all to watch, and then I guess Alex, why don't we start off with you as far as what you have been watching?
Sure.
The last couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the most prominent thing that I've watched, because it just came out as of the time we're recording this, it just came out yesterday, was the new movie Jolt on Amazon Prime with Kate Beckinsale.
I didn't hear anything about that.
I barely heard about it, to be totally
Yeah.
honest. I think I
It was
just saw
not
like
hyped.
I saw like a trailer.
Oh,
And I do
First time hearing about it.
follow Kate Beckinsale on Instagram because
Yeah,
Mhm.
why
she
wouldn't
didn't talk
you?
about it as much.
And she pimped it a little bit on her profile. So that's kind of how I heard about it. But I watched the trailer and I was like, this doesn't look very good, but I like Kate Beckinsale, so I'll give it a shot. And it's not very good, but I do like Kate Beckinsale, so I watched it till the end. She kind of kept me in it. The gist of the story is she has like this chronic rage issue where if she sees wrongdoings or if someone kind of irks her the wrong way, she loses control, kind of Hulk status, but she just doesn't turn big and green. She just starts like fighting everyone around her. And they explain some weird movie science where she's faster and stronger than a regular person because of X, Y, and Z. That's not a real thing, but it doesn't matter.
Fucking Uber Karen.
It's
Cocaine.
another.
I was gonna say, was this written by a white woman by chance?
Well, it was directed by one, but it was actually written by a man. I actually looked at the
Yeah.
credits to see what was
Oh my
happening there.
god! I'm like, yeah, it sounds like the internal monologue of a white woman.
Well, it's like
Fantasyland.
if a 14-year-old boy had just watched John Wick and then Underworld back to back and was like, I have a great idea for a movie. Like, that's what this kind of feels like, because he saw Kate Beckinsale, was like, she's pretty. And then he saw John Wick and he's like, revenge stories with beat 'em up stuff is great. And now I'm going to write my own version. That's kind of what this movie feels like. It's not
He's pretty too, though. I mean, let's be fair. I mean,
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves.
that's
It's
very
nothing
true.
without looks.
But it's another one of the post John Wick clones. It's Atomic Blonde. It's the one with the guy from Better Call Saul, whatever that one was called.
Nobody.
Nobody. Yeah, it's kind of, it falls into that category of a John Wickish, like a revenge story with fighting, but the fighting's not very good and the story is kind of stupid. But I will say it has an extraordinary amount of very good actors, and they actually they bring their A games for the most part, which was nice to see, like them trying their best in this kind of stupid world, if I'm being real. Like Stanley Tucci is in it, Susan Sarandon is in it, Kate Beckinsale, obviously.
J.K. Simmons?
No, not this time, unfortunately. No,
Made it better.
if only. But yeah, it's just a dumb movie, and it's a dumb plot, and it's pretty predictable. Jai Courtney's another one. The guy who plays Walder Frey / Argus Filch, I don't know his name. He's in it. There's a ton of talent, and they do pretty well. And but it's such a dumb story with dumb character motivations and just some straight up dumb characters that it was hard to be invested in it. But Kate Beckinsale looked like she was having fun, and she's entertaining to watch for multiple reasons. And I don't understand how she continues to look better than she did previously.
Dude,
but
yeah,
she's insane. Like, she's
Money
an
and
alien.
Botox.
Well, maybe that's probably part of it, but
Yeah.
And then all she's done during quarantine is like play with her cat.
yeah,
Mhm.
like cat TikTok videos. But
I don't know why you know that.
Instagram.
Because
Follow
it's
her on Instagram.
Instagram. It's all.
I follow her on Instagram.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
She was entertaining to watch, so it did keep me in. But I feel
Yeah.
like if it wasn't her, I might have turned it off like halfway through.
Probably wouldn't even started it if it wasn't her. That's the whole point. You even
That's
started
that's
it.
totally fair. I absolutely would never have started it, but if by chance I happened to watch it. So yeah, Jolt, it's dumb fun, but more dumb than fun. And if you like looking at Kate Beckinsale in tight clothing for a couple hours, I guess it's not the worst way to do it.
I'll be right back.
Give me a couple hours. Yeah, so
Sold.
Jolt, it's fine. If you have Amazon Prime and you can watch it for free,
Why not?
not the worst way to spend your day. Other things I've watched, most of which is just either continuations of things. Still going on with Young Sheldon. It's a really fantastic show. The more I watch it, the more I really like it, and the more that the characters and actors and everything get to be these. I should say, the more the actors get to be these characters, the better they get at being them. And I'm really, really enjoying it. The season 2 finale was incredible and such a callback to like Big Bang that, like, if you liked Big Bang and you saw that finale, it just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. I won't spoil it, but it was awesome, because I do think if you liked Big Bang, I definitely think you should watch Young Sheldon. That's all I have to say about that. I've been plowing through Always Sunny again. That's all I got to say about that. Every time I say that, I know.
That's all I got to say about that. I think it's funny that you say that at the, like, I'm done with that now onto this.
Yeah. Well,
just in case we're wondering, wait, was he done?
That's it. Yeah, I've been watching Sunny again just because it's great background noise. It's
no
a why not
explanation needed.
Yeah,
no explanation needed.
I'm in season 8, I think. Like I'm just plowing through them. Like I watch it every day. But I'm
always watching shows in between my inevitable rewatch of Sunny.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But it did lead me to AP Bio, which I had never watched.
Okay.
And / the Peacock app, which I had never downloaded. So I now have the Peacock app, and I was watching AP Bio.
Real quick before you start on the AP Bio, since you both now have downloaded Peacock, what do you think of the app itself?
I only watched one thing on the Apple TV with it, so
I've only used it on Apple TV. I have not used
oh god, where did I use mine? Was it on my PlayStation or my Apple TV? I think it was on my PlayStation.
Okay.
It behaves. Oh my god, fucking Adobe Flash, get the fuck out of here. It behaves sorry, it behaves fine. Like it works nice. The interface it's a standard streaming app, nothing too special about it, but it works well.
I think the Apple TV version is really kind of clunky, the way you navigate through stuff and getting in and out of shows. We watched a lot of stuff through there, going through it, and it's just the way you get back to episodes. Like if you want to look at episodes when you're in a show and continue watching, like the way it'll directly go, it just doesn't flow very well. And the choosing the main menu choices at the top is again just really clunky and like bloated in one section, but like completely skinny in another. And anyway, I was just curious. On with your.
Just wanted to get that quick shit on the Peacock app on Apple
that's
TV.
fine.
I love a lot of the content. It's just the app itself. Just having played with it enough.
I haven't. Yeah, I think we've watched one show, and I don't remember what show we had to download. Oh, is Dr. Death on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so the wife wanted to watch that, so she's watched that. Or started watching that, but I haven't watched it.
I need to start that.
I saw a lot of trailers for that while I was watching AP Bio because I'm not paying for Peacock. I'm doing the free version of it. So
it's part of my.
You have Comcast, right? It's free with Comcast. So
I don't have cable at all.
Oh, you're weird.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, sorry. You're weird. So you don't watch football, basically, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I guess
football.
Football.
That's the only reason to have it.
So AP Bio. I honestly don't like it that much.
How far into it are you?
I finished the first 2 seasons and then I couldn't.
Oh, really?
And I actually saw the first episode of season 3, but I can't watch any further because I'm not a subscriber, I guess. So maybe that'll become available later. But it was one of those things where I watched the first episode of season 3, tried to go to the next one, and it was like, you can't. And I was like, that's fine. Like, I didn't really care that much. Yeah, I was like, all right.
Right then you're like, I would have, but it didn't let me watch the next episode.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't leave. I wasn't allowed.
I was forced
I was escorted out.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I love Glenn Howerton, especially in Sunny. Yeah. Dennis is my favorite character. And he acts pretty similar in this show, which is nice in one way because I do love Dennis, but also I was kind of hoping he'd be a little more different. But then also he doesn't have the rest of the Sunny gang to like bounce off of and be crazy with. So he just kind of seems like this sociopath surrounded by normal people. And it just, I don't know, it's a little off-putting. I don't know why, but like when Sunny has a group of sociopaths, it works better than just one sociopath and a bunch of normies. And it just never really clicked with me. There are some funny moments for sure, and some decent characters, but I really tried. Like I said, I watched the first 2 seasons and it wasn't doing it for me, which I'm super sad about because I really do think Glenn is awesome and he's hilarious. But I don't know, like if season 3 becomes available sometime down the road, I may go back to it, but I can't say that for sure. So
that's what I did. I watched through season 1 and there was never anything about him that made him sympathetic. So
no, not at all.
Which
a
is
little more in season 2, which I will say a little more.
Right, which is fine if that's the way you're going to take the tone of the show.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the way. It was like this psycho sociopath, but then underneath it was still like, trying to be like a happy sitcom where everything works out for the high school kids. And it was just off-putting and weird. And I was like, I can watch Vice Principals instead of this.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, his energy, it's so good on Sunny, and it just didn't click with me in this show. Like I said, he's funny in a vacuum, but I don't know. I think also it's tough because most of the other actors on the kids, not all of them, but most of the other actors on the show are kids. And that's always a hit or miss. So I don't know, man. It's a bummer. I wanted to like it more than I did. It's not the worst show, but it never really grabbed me.
Yeah. Just because you mentioned Glenn, I saw on AMC Plus. I don't remember what show we're watching on AMC Plus, but we're watching something on there, and it has this trailer for this movie that, as I look at now, it's from 2020, but it's just being released now or being promoted. And Glenn Hallerton's in it as well, and he plays. It looks like a villain.
Oh, is that the one with Joe Manganiello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that. I haven't seen it yet, but I do want to watch that. Arch Enemy, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, he's got like the blonde hair and like a mustache. He looks like a fucking creeper.
I didn't think the trailer looked very good. Neither
did I.
And when I look at it, it's exactly an hour and 30 minutes. So I don't have high expectations.
Red flag.
But I saw that on AMC.
Yeah, I was actually, again, just because I want to see anything that he does, I was like, oh, he's like a villain in this. And I watched the trailer and I was like, I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe I will check it out, but that's pretty much it for me. Besides when we all talk about Loki, and obviously a smattering of video games. That's standard.
A smatter, just
smattering.
When appropriate. All right. Well, then let's move on to Kevin.
That's me.
Which you got a whole bunch of new stuff. Nothing.
I got a few.
Nothing that crosses over.
Oh yeah. So I finished the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix with Fear Street 1978 and Fear Street 1666.
Yeah.
And for what they were really fun. I guess the creator of the trilogy has decided that they're going to make this like a horror film kind of MCU. So they're going to start building around this trilogy and create a world kind of like obviously like Marvel has with the MCU. What's nice is it's not established like major characters like Universal was talking about doing the monster universe and stuff like that, and it never really took off. I think this benefits from effectively being unknown characters unless you were an R.L. Stine fan when you were a kid and read the Fear Street books, which were more adult than the Goosebumps books.
I was the Goosebumps kid for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, these movies were a lot of fun. There's a pretty decent storyline running through all of them too, with a little bit of a twist there at the end that keeps it interesting. And it's kind of cool the way it actually, as a trilogy, goes back in time. Because you start in 94, then you go to 78, and then you go to 1666.
Is it
and then
84?
about halfway, 94. 94, 78, and then 1666.
Oh.
And the 1666 one, only about half of it takes place in the past, and then it jumps back to the current time, or to 1994, which is their current time, and kind of closes out the whole current timeline story. But it's really good. Like it's not great. I mean, it's a horror series, right? So you're not looking at Oscar winners or anything like that. Jillian Jacobs from Community is in a couple of them, but otherwise,
does she play the same character in them?
Yes, but because it's the same character in the same timeline. It's not like she doesn't kind of bounce between all three.
So my friend Sonny saw these, and he said that he thought that 1 was kind of the worst, and that like 2 and 3 were better than 1. So he said like if you watch the first one, you have to also watch the second one because the second one's better.
That's
Is that-
possible. I actually enjoyed the first one a lot, but because it was very much the slasher film of them. The second, well, I mean, the second one was too. The second one was like Friday the
Classic
13th.
slash.
It mostly took place at a summer camp and went through all that.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a really interesting way to do it, to have a movie trilogy and have all three movies come out a week apart. So you have a week to think about what you watched and then watch the next one, because they're not super cerebral, right? And you're not talking about genius writing or acting, but it's good. I mean, they have a few good actors in there. The one of the kid actors in the second one is from Stranger Things, a little redheaded girl from Stranger Things.
oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun if you like horror films and you like the genre, then I think it's good. It's not scary, it's not a terrifying series, but it's a good like horror movie homage. So I'm curious to see if they're going to do more, what they do next.
So if they're gonna make an MCU, I'm guessing they're building a mythology. Was it a pretty cool mythology, or?
I don't even know that it'll necessarily continue that exact mythology, because they did kind of close out that story. So I don't know how to tie together, because I never read the Fear Street books, so I don't know what it's based on at all. But there was a handful of them. Like R.L. Stein wrote a crap load of books between Goosebumps and Fear Street. He wrote a ton. He is actually one of the best-selling horror writers of all time, and he kind of flies under the radar because they were all kids' books,
They're great
or
books. I
YA
love
books.
Goosebumps, man.
Yeah. So so I mean, we'll see what comes next. I would definitely say, like I said, if you're a fan of the genre, they're fun. They're fun. They're not as terrifying as like The Ring or something like that, but they're fun slasher type films. And then this last week, I saw something. I didn't realize that this next season of The Walking Dead is actually going to be the last season of The Walking Dead.
Oh,
What?
really?
Yeah, they're finally going to end it.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
About goddamn.
Let me guess
time.
how it ends.
Yeah,
I thought it had already ended.
I had given up. I had given up about halfway through last season, because it was fine. It was whatever, but it was always the same. Like every season was the same thing.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
How so?
never. Every time, every season, you had your big bad. You had the action episode, and then you had the character building episode. And so you had the action episode where everything was crazy and you didn't know what was going on. And then you had the action episode, or then you had the character building episode, which
Were they running from zombies?
Did they find it?
Usually it's people.
Yeah. Did they find a new place to live that was safe from zombies, but then they had to fight a bunch of people who didn't want them to live there anymore?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How fucking telling is that society, even in a situation like that, it's like, yeah, we're all fighting zombies, but fuck you, this is my property. You don't agree with
this is
my
my
ideology.
jail
Like,
or my town,
yeah,
or whatever.
I totally buy into that, but it's just like, Jesus.
It's an intelligent point of view, but it's not an 11th season point of view. Like the story had run its course, but now knowing there's only one season left, and I had invested in 10 and a half seasons, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to finish it. And so I think I only had six episodes left in season 10. And they were fine. They were fine. The one thing I can say is that Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan is a fantastic character. He plays it amazingly, and the character is very well written. So for all the shit that has happened in the last couple of seasons, he's probably one of the real bright spots. And they're, now that the universe, they have expanded this universe so much, but it's still kind of all the same thing. Like they're doing Fear the Walking Dead, which I liked after the first season. But it's the same thing. It's just in a different place with different characters, essentially doing the same thing. And then they have a new one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's further in the future. So it's like kids are actually being raised in this world now. So they're like teenagers that were born after the whole zombie apocalypse started, right? So they're used to this. This is just life. And then they're doing their spin-off movies. So spoiler alert, I think at the end of season 9, they made it look like they killed off Rick. There's a big explosion, but at the very end of the episode, he gets taken away in a helicopter. Somebody finds him and takes him away. And so they're going to do a spin-off series with him, but they're going to be movies. So they're going to do a couple of movies. And then Carol and Daryl are going to get their own spin-off. And
so it's not really ending then.
Not really. I mean, I think they're closing out this story, and then they're going to tell some side stories, and then they're doing another series called, like, is it Tales of the Walking Dead or Walking Dead Tales or something like that, where it's one-off stories. So it's never really going to end. But I just want to see, with the 11th season. The other thing that's crazy to me too is we're in this era where so many TV shows, like dramas, are like 8 and 10 episodes long. And I think that's a great length for a drama these days. And The Walking Dead is still 24 episodes a season.
Ugh, an hour each, aren't they?
Yeah.
42 minutes or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, because you got commercials.
Still, dude.
Yeah, so it's a lot. So I don't know
what's
going to happen.
What the fucking zombies win at this point?
Right. Well, obviously they can't, because they can win over our characters in this show. But they have a show that takes place, 15 years down the line. So they can't kill everybody.
It's just a bunch of zombies like just shambling around every episode.
Yeah.
They're learning to speak again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was
creating societies.
One of the George
Practicing
Romero
interview questions for that job.
Yeah. One of the George Romero like Living Dead movies. It was like Dawn of the, I forget which one, but it opens up and they're driving around and there's like zombies, like they're starting to normalize and kind of, it's like their muscle memory, human life. So there's zombies mowing the lawns.
Oh, Jesus
zombies doing all this
Christ.
shit, but they're not like talking. They're just like going through the motions of what they used to do.
Zombies stuck in traffic. Gets out, walks in the other car.
Merge.
Yeah. And then the one turns down his hip hop when the black zombie walks by, just like an
Office Space.
Oh.
And then next I watched a show that absolutely no one can respect me for watching, but I've watched every season of it, so I don't care. Is Love Island on the UK version of Love Island, the American.
The UK.
Sorry.
Oh, in that case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got some class here with this.
Yeah, I gotta watch the classy
Was
stuff.
that National Geographic then?
Yeah.
Yes, basically.
That's fine. It's just a bunch of hot chicks. I don't blame you.
Yeah. It's just to be honest, this season the dudes are better looking than the girls. Like that show always has
Good to know.
attractive people on it, and they're just dumb, but like it feels better than watching like the Real Housewives or something.
You don't have to watch
like
any
that.
of it, Kevin. You don't have to watch any of it.
He's like, no, I have to.
No, I do.
I have a contract.
Yeah, I agree to at least one show like that a week.
Yeah.
But like Alex said, they're attractive people. So it's fun. It's fun to watch.
I made it through Jolt because Kate Beckinsale is attractive. I totally understand what you're doing.
Yeah. So and it's absolute trash television. Absolute trash television. I won't deny it. So yeah,
you're the reason it's on. People like you.
Yep. People like.
I mean, I just happened to find it when I was channel surfing and just kind of finished the whole season.
Yeah, all 7.
Yeah.
So and then to class it up, I went back to Apple TV Plus. I started Schmigadoon on Apple TV Plus.
I started that too.
Is that the musical one?
Yes.
Yeah,
which
that's what I watched.
Having done a multitude of musicals in my life, it is a very fun show.
I only watched the first episode. How many episodes are out? 2?
3. There's 3 now.
3?
There's 2 last week, 1 last night.
Maybe we watched the first 2. I don't recall. I know at least watched the first one.
Yeah, Keegan Michael Key is very Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah, very Keegan Michael Key.
Just like always.
He's hilarious. He's super funny. Cecily Strong is great. And then everything around them is just for them is total chaos and it's fun. But I love the feeling of it. You know, I actually did bring a Dune in college in community theater.
Yeah.
And not that it necessarily replicates Brigadoon specifically, although the idea is there. They stumble into this town that shouldn't exist, and now they're trapped there. But it's just it plays on the older musicals and the stereotypes of older musicals so well, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's only 6 episodes, so it's weird that 2 weeks in I'm halfway done already. But I can also see where if they went any more, it would probably get kind of annoying. So it'll be fun to see what they do with it. I don't know if it's planned for multiple seasons or what, but
are they half-hour episodes?
Yeah, it goes by real quick. And speaking of Apple TV Plus, if anybody listens or watches that somehow doesn't have Apple TV Plus right now, but owns a PS5, which I know is a very small group of people, I guess PlayStation is offering 6 months of Apple TV Plus if you own a PlayStation 5.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, so that's that. And then lastly, last night I watched the first episode of the new season of Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, is that out already?
It doesn't come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, started last night.
It came out on the 23rd. Yeah. In fact, actually, the evening of the 22nd, it was available.
Yeah.
I made sure I watched it because I thought all you were going to watch it.
I totally intended to.
I would have watched it.
Yeah, I intended to. I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about the show more next week when everybody's getting caught
up. I
up.
won't put a pin on that one till next week, and we'll talk about it.
I'll just say that it does a good job picking up where the last season left off.
Oh, good.
And that's about all I have.
That's all Kevin's got. So that's all I got to say about that.
No.
Peter's got a few things, looks like, and a little crossover there. So with Schmigadoon, obviously, we
really just Schmigadoon. I like it as well. I think it's.
I knew I assumed David would have seen it or heard about it only because we
didn't know it was out
yet.
Yeah.
We all met.
I knew it was coming out. I just didn't know it was out yet. Yeah. I don't jump onto Apple TV very often, so.
Shocker.
You should more, man. All the shows on there are fantastic. Really,
there's a lot of really great content on there. But anyway, we all met in college theater, so and pretty much not maybe in musicals, but around them and stuff like that. So I imagine that we'd all appreciate the job they did on that show. I agree with Kevin in terms of it. If you're a fan of musical theater, you're probably gonna like the show just in general. But if you've been in musical theater, you also appreciate just the pageantry of all of it and stuff like that. So sorry, Peter, by all means.
Yeah, no, I just to touch off what Kevin said, Keegan-Michael Key is himself, but I think the way they wrote it, it's not as much like it really feels like it's a musical. Like, how am I trying to say this? Okay, it doesn't feel like. Well, okay, it doesn't say with Keegan. It doesn't feel like with Keegan-Michael Key and
we established
Strong,
that
they tried to make them like hyper now, right? Like they feed into the musical. Like their entire demeanor and manner is all written in the same vein of the musical. If that makes sense, what? Forget it. I enjoy it. Go watch it. It's good. The music's really, really good. I'm not explaining myself. I'm just not there. Go.
No, you go. What else did you watch?
Yeah. You have other things on your list here.
We're not going
to.
We're putting a pin in that. We'll get to Loki.
And then you binge Loki. So
yeah. I watched the first episode of the show on Netflix called This Is Pop, and it's just like a fun docuseries about pop music and how it's changed and what changes it and things like that. And the first episode is all about Boyz II Men and how they kind of actually birthed, NSYNC and all these guys. They were direct copies of Boyz II Men. And it's fun. It was fun, at least for me, because I was a really, really big New Edition fan. And so the mythology behind Boyz II Men is that they met Michael Bivins at his tour bus one night and they a cappellaed Can You Stand the Rain? and he like signed them right there. Well, they tell you the real story of how that actually worked and went, and it's not as like
Hollywood as it sounds.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be a fun series so far. Like the next one is all about auto-tune, and
God,
so it that should be fun.
Worst invention that ever happened to music.
And then I watched the opening ceremonies to the 2020 Olympics.
I heard they played a bunch of like Final Fantasy
video games
music and shit because it's in Japan.
Yeah,
I think that's super.
Yes,
tons of video
yes
music.
and no. Yeah, there was definitely that influence there.
No, I've heard that there's like legit songs pulled right from the games that were played.
Oh,
yeah,
there was. I just didn't realize.
There's something like 10, I think, 10 total.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's just so funny to me. They're so obsessed with like their franchises like that.
I think the most impressive thing that they did, like there was a lot of cool animation that they did, and of course the floor show was cool the way they move the set pieces around, and it's really I really appreciate watching the way that at the Olympics, the way the different nations do the opening ceremonies, because there's a lot that goes into it, and it's really cool to see it all happen. And there was at one point above the stadium, 1,500 lit up drones were circling around in a globe and forming different shapes, like 150 feet above the stadium. That shit would have been dope to see, like in real life.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That's like Mysterio.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane because you're watching this. They're telling
not terrifying at all. Not terrifying at all.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because you're watching, and the guy just kind of glazes his old. It's an amazing feat. 1,500 drones come together.
This is the beginning of the end.
Yeah. All they got to do is put a bomb on each of those, and we're done.
Yeah.
So that was really impressive. They did a lot. There was some cool musical stuff they did. It was a good kickoff to the Olympics. It was very interesting because there was almost no one in the stadium at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's like dignitaries and just like a few people here and there. It's like it's completely empty.
Imagine if you were one of those people, dude. That'd be so crazy that you were lucky enough to be there during this time.
Was there a whole section filled up of Japanese kids with remote controls controlling the drones?
No, apparently that was all computer controlled.
Oh wow, that's even scarier.
Skynet.
Exactly.
Yeah, artificial intelligence doing it. It's like this looks like a fun shape. It just makes it.
Yeah, just a big middle finger.
Yeah, how can I weaponize this?
Yeah, it's just the Russian hammer and sickle. You're like, wait.
Yeah. Oh no.
The Olympics too.
But it's it's available to stream in a couple different places on Hulu. Oddly enough, not on Peacock. It is on the regular NBC app, and it is on.
I thought it was going to be on Peacock. I thought I saw ads for that when I downloaded it.
They're doing a ton of live stuff that's exclusive stuff to Peacock that they're doing.
Oh, but it's not like the actual broadcast.
Yeah, no, the NBC app. If you're streaming, the actual NBC app is actually the best place.
Yeah, I think NBC Sports if it's on your television.
That's another one. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you can rewatch it. It's I still, in my lifetime of opening ceremonies that I remember, the Beijing Olympics where they were all like in perfect sync and the light up drums and they were raising things. That's like been the most amazing one we've seen. But this was really they did a good job, kind of like because of the way last year went and having to delay the Olympics because of COVID. They addressed it in a very good way without beating you over the head about it and without making it sad. The only inappropriate laugh you have is when they do the
Special Olympics
torch ceremony.
Special Olympics.
Oh my God.
No, they have I think it was the first Japanese gold medal recipient is there, and the dude is old as hell, and this guy and Hideki Matsui is helping him.
Who?
Hideki Matsui.
Yeah, Godzilla played for the Yankees outfielder.
Yeah. Is there, and he's helping this dude, and it takes like 2 minutes for this old dude to walk like 50 yards or whatever.
That was like when they had Muhammad
It's
Ali,
just-
like
yeah,
the torch.
Muhammad Ali, like
Yeah.
yeah, it was the same kind of
You're
thing.
like,
Like, it's live, so you're like, oh, and it's like you don't want to laugh about it, but
Did they have that tennis player Asaki light the?
she wound up doing it, and that was a big deal because apparently it's almost
She just runs
never-
past him and grabs the torch, and she's like, "Fuck it, we gotta."
She
get
just
going."
like takes a tennis ball and like hits it through the fire with the torch.
After 20 minutes, she goes the remaining 35 yards to get the torch on.
It was really cool. They the actual torch, the cauldron, the way it was a big silver ball that broke apart into little pieces, and it turned around to the almost like an egg, and then the inside of the eggshell like changed levels, and it's got all this reflective material on it, and then like the actual part that she lights is in the middle of that. And so watching that kind of come apart and go together was really, really good.
So it was a literal transformer.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It was fun to watch. I'm excited for the
Wasn't
Olympics.
that
I
in
love
Raya
this
the
every
Last
4 years.
Dragon? That entire scene when they drop the fucking egg in the beginning of it and splits apart. Is that where they got it from?
Possibly.
They're like,
well,
ooh,
that
that's
was
a hit movie.
planned years before that.
Okay, maybe allegedly.
I don't know. It takes a long time to make an animated film.
Yeah.
Well, so Tokyo got approved for the Olympics in 2016. So, I mean,
How do you know that?
I watched the whole thing on it leading up to the Olympics.
A whole thing on them being approved in 2016.
Well, no, it's part of at the beginning of the.
I'm kidding. I don't care.
All
So, anything else you've watched?
No, that was about it. Yeah.
All right. Anything more from the Tokyo Olympics opening games?
Not really. I mean, we've got 5 medals in swimming so far.
Oh, we do we?
By
Yes,
we,
do.
I assume you mean the United States.
Exactly, it's the royal.
Yeah.
we.
No, he means his family.
Yes.
They were all there.
Family has a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
So
This whole
not
COVID
that
thing, there's
far
nobody
off.
in the pool.
Yeah. Yeah. Soaps cuts through the water like a fucking dolphin. All right. Then that leaves David with a bunch of different stuff. So
A bunch of different stuff indeed. I'll just start with last week I was away at Disneyland. Finally got to ride Rise of the Resistance. Won't say anything about it other than I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. Everything else, that was our first time at that Galaxy's Edge because I did see the Florida one. But it was great. I mean, it was really fun, really cool. Highly recommend. And then we went over to Avengers Campus, which is very new, and it was kind of a little disappointing. It's small.
Well, it's old Bugs Land. They
Well,
didn't have
yeah,
much
it's
room.
Yeah, I know. But like the
wow,
web
that is
slinger
right.
ride takes up so much of it. I
Mm.
mean, it's even smaller, I think, than you would even believe.
That's like the only actual ride, if I'm not mistaken.
It's pretty
right?
much the only actual thing in there, right?
Yeah.
There's that. And then there is one store, and it's pretty much devoted all to Spider-Man. And then there is a little area where they do a Doctor Strange show, which was really good. And then they have a little courtyard area where they just kind of do a variety of little shows. Just, characters from the movies will come in and do a bit and then like move on. And then they have this big like Avenger building that's got the Quinjet up on top. It looks great. It's got the balcony, and that's where the actors come out and they wave and they do their bits and various things. And then they head back in.
Did you see the animatronic Spider-Man, the web
Yes,
swings?
we did. We walked in like 2 minutes before it was going to start, sat down, had a perfect view for it. The show itself is kind of weak. It's real short. Like Spider-Man goes up a wall, he has a little quip, they do the fling, he goes down the wall. Like that's it. It lasts like 4 minutes maybe. It's very fast. But the animatronic flip is so clean and it looks like a human, man. It is really cool.
So that's
Really
not
neat.
scaring you at all either? That's,
Yeah, more of the Skynet bullshit.
Yeah.
yeah. You put these two things together, we're fucked, dude. We're fucked.
So we did get to ride the new Spider-Man ride, and it was fine. But after having ridden Rise, it just doesn't compare.
Yeah,
It's hard to be as excited about it. So, and it wasn't, super mind blowing or anything. The technology they were using, it was just a little more advanced than we've seen, and that's about it. So it was cool. The food they have like the one restaurant in there is like the PIM laboratory. So the food's ridiculous, which is fantastic. Like there's
because it's supposed to be like super big, right?
It's super big
or super small.
Yeah.
And so I got like a chicken sandwich, and the bun to the chicken sandwich was like normal size, but the patty was like the size of a basketball,
like a pancake or some shit.
Yeah, it's huge. They had huge pretzels. They had this huge candy bar that was literally like 1.5 feet long, and it was just like a giant candy bar. We ended up sitting at a communal table and sharing food with the people across from us because we all ordered a whole bunch of food. And so everyone was just like, cutting off pieces and then passing it over, and they cut it. So we tried all kinds of stuff. It was all really good. So it was a really fun experience. The PIM kitchen was very cool.
Cool.
Fun experience. Did get COVID though, but
yeah.
I was gonna say, when y'all motherfuckers break quarantine, you break quarantine.
Yeah.
No, we weren't like, double dipping food or anything.
You're feeding each other.
Lady
take it out of my mouth.
Candy bar with some woman from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Baby bird.
No, they were from LA. She was a model.
There you go.
One of the guys
food with
was
her too,
a
then.
documentary filmmaker, and he told us about his documentary film, which is about, I had never heard of this, and I actually watched the beginning, and I've been meaning to finish this. It's called, I forget what it's called, but it's about a band called Halix, which apparently was a Disney-made Disneyland like Star Wars knockoff band that they did in the 80s for one summer. And it's just like all the hijinks and stuff that happened during this one summer of this crazy band playing at Disneyland. And like I said, so I talked to them, and they were telling us about the documentary, and I went home. It's on YouTube, and started to watch it, and it was really good. So
cool.
It was random. And then the other guy worked on Rise of the Resistance, so he was kind of giving us some of the scuttle of what happens behind the scenes and stuff. So
that's cool.
It was a very
he's not supposed to do that. That's cool.
Well, yeah, but he did.
No, that's yeah. I love that they're never supposed to. But if you're an adult and you don't have like any small kids with you, they'll just like, I remember we did a meet and greet with Aladdin and Jasmine, and Sam was wearing a Game of Thrones shirt, and Aladdin started talking to her about Game of Thrones. And I'm like, okay, like this is like there's no kids around. So they don't, they're like, whatever. Like, we're not real.
Sam starts crying. She's like, why are you doing this?
We ended up following along behind Tom DeLonge, formerly of Blink-182.
Oh, Blink-182?
For like quite a while.
Was he talking about UFOs?
He was, honestly.
That's funny.
But we noticed that other people did, and that people were like walking up and shaking his hand and talking to him and stuff. So we did a little internet sleuthing and figured out who it was. My daughter was like, I'm just going to search all of Instagram until I find all the celebrities at Disneyland today. And she was like, all right, I got him.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
I've seen some.
And that doesn't scare you at all?
What, that my daughter can track that stuff down? It is a little disturbing.
Just that it
didn't even take her long.
That's just
did it
crazy.
Rather quickly.
Jesus Christ. You put those three things together, dude. We're fucked.
So, all right.
Disney's got to be stopped. That's all I got to say. Disney's got to be stopped.
So tonight's episode name is AI Will Kill Us All.
It's
there you go.
Not far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We have three examples right now.
So beyond that, I did see the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, Old. It came out this weekend.
Really? I didn't even know he had another movie coming out.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of M. Night Shyamalan, and honestly,
how's Dallas Bryce Howard in this one?
Yeah. What did Bruce Willis do this time?
I got
what did he do this
friend's birthday, and he invited me along, so I went and saw the movie, and I will have to say it was really good. I recommend
I've heard pretty good things about it, actually. Like it's getting like 7s and 8s and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't want to give anything away, but it was a pretty good psychological horror kind of film, and it was
reminiscent of his early work, or
fun and well done. And I mean, there's no crazy twist or anything, but
Why bother?
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
but it was a solid movie, and I haven't said that about stuff he's made for a while. So
Honestly,
How
I don't
could you?
recognize any names or actors that I would.
Yeah,
No,
the
I don't
trailer
know
when
if
I
it's
saw it,
good.
it's like, yeah, I don't recognize
like
The
that.
Indian kid I recognized. Or I don't know if he's Indian, but
Is it Dev Patel?
Middle Eastern. Is it Dev Patel? Is that who it is?
I'll see.
I don't think Dev Patel's in it.
No, he
They
just, I might have
use
saw the Green Knight.
a kid, like they have one of the characters because they age. You know, they use someone who looks similar in each age range.
Yeah. I don't recognize anybody.
Rufus Sewell.
Well, cool.
Oh yes, Rufus Sewell.
Oh, no, yeah, Rufus Sewell.
Which was extra special funny because we had been discussing old movies that we liked, and someone brought up Dark City, and I was like, "Oh yeah, starring Rufus Sewell," and then everyone was like, "Why do you even remember that guy's name?" And then that night we went and saw this movie, and Nestor leans over and goes, "Hey, isn't that Rufus Sewell?" Like, what are the odds of that? So, but yes, he was the only, I think, named real actor in there, but they did great. Everyone was great. M. Night Shyamalan's in it. That was another known actor in the film.
I think he does that like a lot. He appears for like a scene.
Yeah.
In most of his films. Very Tarantino
he plays
that way.
a reoccurring character who it doesn't do much, but be in the background. So,
well, his character killed Mel Gibson's wife in Signs.
I wish he'd have just killed the whole movie. All right, and then
that's Joaquin Phoenix. Watch your mouth, sir.
I've been playing more The Last of Us, and the more I play it, the more I like it. It's a truly great game. It just gets better and better as you go through. So
yes, it does.
I haven't completed it yet. I have.
How far are you?
Thing beforehand. Let's see. I am about to make the attempt to get across the bridge in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia?
Okay. Have you met? I don't want to
Henry
say
and
their name.
Sam.
I was going to say I didn't want to say their names in case you haven't. But
literally, that's right where I'm at. I just had the cut scene, and it's like if we're going to do it, we need to do it tonight. Like that's where I'm at. So
awesome. The actor who played
Sam,
I want to say it's Sam, is supposed to show up in the show, but not as Sam. Like he's going to show up as somebody else. That's like an homage.
Isn't he the same kid that plays Miles Morales?
I believe so, but like in the HBO show, it's just sort of gonna be like a thing for fans. I think it was either. Really? I don't think it was Henry. I think it's Sam that's supposed to do that. Yeah.
And they cast Tess for that this week.
There you go.
For the HBO show, they cast Anna Torv from Fringe.
Oh, from Fringe.
As Tess.
Yeah, everyone always thought Anna Torv was super hot, but my problem was she looks just like my sister. So it's like
weird.
That would be bothersome.
Yeah. That would be a little troublesome.
Yeah. All right. And then speaking of John Wick ripoffs, I watched Gunpowder Milkshake on Netflix.
Yeah.
It just came out, and it's kind of a John Wick meets Leon the Professional meets Kill Bill. Basically, you've got 3 generations once you kind of mix them all together. Of assassins, you've got Cersei Lannister, and then Nebula.
That's right. She's who's in it. I was like,
Karen Gillan, Lena Headey, Carla Gugino.
Paul Giamatti's in it.
Lots of names. Just like Jolt. Lots of names.
So this one is for me was a lot like Army of the Dead. It could have been good if they'd have tried to make it good, but Netflix just feels like they're just spitting them out.
Angela Bassett too.
This thing just really felt spit out. There was some really cool mythology stuff they were working with, especially the librarians who he's listing off, Angela Bassett and Laura, whatever her name was, and the other people. Like they were really cool. There was some really cool stuff in there. The direction was not good. Like you just watched the movie and you were like, oof. And then Karen Gillan had about the same range as she does with Nebula. Like
none.
For a human character. It was really weird.
That's weird.
That's too bad because she's really funny.
Yeah.
She was not.
Yeah, she's awesome. Like
she's
in
trying
Jumanji.
to play stoic action hero, and she did a poor job. This role was out of her range the direction of all the actors was fairly poor. It just felt like if someone who really knew what they were doing, like if you'd have given this to Quentin Tarantino, like he could have knocked it out of the park. This person was trying to be Tarantino without any of the skill. And it was not great. I don't recommend it, not even for a fun one. It was not good.
Okay.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. And then lastly, on Netflix, they came out with the second season of The Films That Made Us. And I
I just
nice.
saw that tonight. Yeah.
yeah, it came out yesterday. It was Jurassic Park, which was relevant because we just discussed that. That was a pretty good one. And then Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, and Pretty Woman. And they were all super, super interesting. So if you like how movies are made and you like some nostalgia, I find this series super fun.
Yeah. I've seen it. I think I've seen a couple of those, and they're
last
really
season was like Die Hard and Dirty Dancing, and and then they have a holiday version, or was it even just Christmas? So they have a couple different ones of these, but the just straight normal one was really pretty cool. And the Jurassic Park, again, being super relevant to just seeing it.
To our podcast.
Yep.
No one else's, but
no one else. That's super relevant to anyone who's listening to this.
Yeah, I should watch that with my son. He loves Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Nice.
So we're all through that. And
Opie, what did you watch?
Not much. Nothing new really. Still working through Dexter. I did finish Friends, and I watched the Friends reunion today, and so I'm done with Friends altogether. And then but when I finished Friends, I started watching Taxi, which I haven't seen. I've seen episodes here and there, and it's on Hulu. So it's only like 5 seasons, and I mean, I think the biggest season is 13 episodes, so I don't think it's going to take very long to get through. But I know, there's lots of classic, references and stuff like that from that show, obviously with Andy Kaufman and Judd Hirsch and all, Christopher Lloyd. I'm waiting for his character to show up, but Danny DeVito. I mean, so it's a lot of good show to watch. So I'm just going through that right now. The only thing really worth mentioning that's new is that me and the wife started, because I think the Emmy nominations came out. The wife wanted to watch Lovecraft Country on HBO because
that's good.
So so we watched the first episode so far, and which is interesting. It's really start off you hating white people, and then it's like, oh, that's a twist at the end of the episode. So I don't want to give anything away, but good show so far. We just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the next episode yet, but we figure we'll probably get through that fairly quickly. And we're also working our way through Dexter still. So we just finished season 5. So
when does the next season come out?
I think it's filming right now.
I say it's a ways away. I don't think it's anytime soon.
So we got a little bit of time, but we want to just try to get through. I mean, now it's really going to be the sprint to the end because it's going to start getting really dumb. So, and then other than that, all my nights have been filled with hours of playing Spider-Man on my PS4. So
look at you gamer.
So I'm kind of going through, trying to do everything. Kind of going back through things to get like the bonus stuff just to, before it ends. Cause I was going to do this last thing. It's like, you cannot, build any more in your character. So I was like, well, shit, I guess I should start to get more experience points so I can get some more, things. So, it's fun. It's I get frustrated sometimes, but it's a fun game. I figure I'd get into it once, but I knew this would happen. I just stopped watching anything for the most part.
So
if I'm not playing that, I'm just filling some time, and it's usually watching NFL videos on YouTube. So
because that's coming up
to really focus on. Yeah. Yes, it is. So that would bring us to Loki, since we all watched that, and then after that we got our franchises still. So on Loki, I don't know. Who would like to start? Anyone have a strong opinion one way or the other on this show? How because we can kind of go through either, the last episode, yeah, but I think it probably makes sense to kind of just kind of judge it on the whole season versus just the last episode. I mean, we've talked a bit about how for some of us, the last episode was kind of hinging on, or the whole season was kind of hinging on the last episode, how it was going to be. So I definitely have my opinions about it, but I'm just going to pick Kevin to start us off with your reaction, sir.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that I loved the last episode, but I think compared to what had come before it, I think it dug the show out as much as it could for me. I think what I really enjoyed about that episode was actually Kang, or what was his name on this one? It's
He Who Remains.
Yeah, He Who Remains. I loved his performance. I thought he was great.
Oh yeah.
Fucking
he really
balls.
Yeah, he really stole the show. And I mean, it definitely, the show overall was flawed for sure. And there were parts that were, I think, less interesting than they could have been, or a little too weird, or at least not what people wanted, or at least what I wanted from the show. But it did set up a lot of stuff. The big issue that I had was that, they showed the whole timeline at the end splitting off. But to me, I really felt like they had already done that. They did that in the second or third episode, right? They showed the TV screen and all the timelines branching off, and then they just kind of stopped talking about that for a while, and then they just showed it again there at the end. So I was kind of less impressed by that, because I was under the impression that it already really kind of started to happen. But
now it's for realsies.
I thought the second episode, when that happened, it was just because they touched hands, and it was sort of like a freak out, but it didn't actually cause.
No, it wasn't when they touched hands. It was when she sent bombs all through the timeline. Remember?
That freak out,
because
there were a few of them.
They sent teams to fix all those, though.
Yeah,
that was
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Which I don't understand why that would disrupt the timeline, because those bombs fix timelines.
Well, but she was dropping them just into random places. Like, she was just fucking shit up.
I think she was just like trimming
that.
off actual chunks of the sacred timeline.
Yeah. So they had to go back and fix that. But
duh.
So,
I mean,
watch the show.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did.
Knowing that,
now. Don't skip your turn.
I do. I'm curious to see what it sets up for the entire MCU. I mean, they've once again, in their own way, set up another one of the Young Avengers in it's not Iron Lad.
Iron Lad.
So Iron Lad in the comic books is a variant of Kang, going back in time to essentially stop the other Kangs, but he sends himself back as a teenager, because he's like sick of all the bullshit of the Kangs being dicks, and so he becomes a superhero. He's actually the one that forms the Young Avengers in the comic books. So it's interesting. I mean, they've definitely, like, with these series specifically, have set up a lot of stuff. Like, I feel like they're setting up some wider stuff, but they have heavily set up the Young Avengers in the TV shows, and then the movies have set up the Dark Avengers. Although they set that up a little bit with Falcon also.
With US
so
Agent.
but Loki itself, it definitely finished stronger than it had been. I don't know that it was enough to make it like a great finish or a great series, but I didn't hate it by the end.
Okay. You didn't hate it by the end.
Glowing review.
Yeah, that's a glowing. So,
well, I mean, there was a real risk of it being like hateable, like it could have been, and I almost feel like if anybody else had shown up at the end, if it hadn't been that performance by that guy, it really could have been, a disappointment. And to some degree, I think some stuff still was, but um, I love Tom Hiddleston's work throughout the show. I don't necessarily love what they did with the character, but he was fun. I always liked Tom Hiddleston. So,
all righty, David, how about you?
I really kind of liked it. I didn't have a problem with the
say
series from the beginning. It always kind of was quirky and weird. And I didn't watch anything about it going into it, so I had no expectations. So I think that might have helped me, because I feel like some of the others on the show here, you guys had expectations and then it didn't meet those, and so I didn't have that. So I liked it. I agree that the performance was masterful. I mean, he was so good. And I was captivated. Now, I really liked the episode specifically because I liked him, and I thought that was really cool. So I had some my friend who usually knows stuff. He told me that
he usually knows stuff.
He's usually correct. He told me that the series was supposed to be 12 episodes, and that due to COVID, they had to chop it where they were at 6, because they needed to get it out. So that might be why it doesn't quite land.
Okay. Well,
so that's just what I heard. I don't have any proof of that. People could probably look it up. It might be public knowledge. It might be something he gleaned from somewhere. I don't know, but
that's possible. I mean, it's possible, but it doesn't explain what they're doing in the first 6 episodes.
Well, I don't know. I could explain it to you. And Pete's watched it through twice. I bet he could too.
Yeah, I don't know.
You put a lot of eggs in that basket.
I know. Have you met Pete? All right, so.
Overall, I liked this episode, and overall, I liked the series. For me, I would put it second. I liked Falcon Winter Soldier the most. This second. WandaVision really didn't blow my skirt up in the end. I don't think they stuck the landing for me. So I put it below Loki.
The one thing I'll say to you about watching the dude that played Kang, I think it's Jonathan Majors, I think is his name.
Yeah.
I think what really impressed me about him too was that I did watch Lovecraft Country, and he's so different on that. Like it's.
Well, I didn't even recognize him. I looked him up, and then it was like the dude from Lovecraft Country, and I was like, how did I even?
Yeah.
But in Lovecraft Country, he's huge, right? He's tall, big mountain of a man. And in this, he spent so much time hunched over and making himself small and weird and fidgety that I didn't even recognize it.
You know what's hilarious is that we watched Loki, and I think we watched it one night, the night before, and then the next day we watched the first episode of Lovecraft Country. I'm like, that guy looks like the dude from Loki, but I thought I was just being racist.
Oh,
it was like, well, no, I mean, because like, no, it's totally different. I couldn't, so I just kind of dismissed it, and then also in Loki, all of his stuff is practically in shadow, so it's hard to make out exactly for me to see what he is looking like. But anyway, that's funny you mentioned that. All right, well, you liked it. Okay, well, I feel like Pete's going to be more on your side as well. So Pete, what did you think overall? So since you watched it all again, you have a better understanding.
I think it works better if you can kind of binge it. I think there was actually a misstep in releasing this episode a week like that, as opposed to all at once. I think when you consume it, even if you split it up into 2 chunks and do 3 and then the next 3, it flows a little better, because even if you've already watched it, so you know what's coming, but you kind of see where they were going. And I just looked up a couple things on the internet, and one of the rumors is that there already are more episodes filmed, kind of leading into what David said.
Yeah.
And that I think that, the kind of twist at the end where all of a sudden he's on a timeline where, he's, they don't recognize him. They don't know what's going on. It wasn't like that. I felt like there was more there. I think that was a storyline that was going to be expanded upon right away. And they said, hey, this is a good break for a cliffhanger. kind of thing until we can finish out this what is going to be the second season, but would have been the second half of a 12 episode season.
They should have had an after the credits scene where it kind of blows the anticipation like it did when he woke up after being pruned or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. It was a little disappointing, but I feel like, and I know they're two separate things. I feel like we were all kind of fucked by the Mandalorian because it was so fucking good that what now we're expecting from this whole Disney crew, even though it's Marvel, is almost like a movie quality TV show basically, and it doesn't deliver that. I can't wait for season 2. I thought overall, like when I rewatched it's a lot more fun the second time around when you just get to see it's like boom boom boom, because the story does just kind of flow a little better. Alex, unless somebody's got something else to say, Alex is the face.
I was gonna say
like
my argument.
I'm just sitting.
Yeah, my argument against
listening to this bullshit.
Yeah, was that they advanced his character development, I think, too much. Like he was supposed to be
Avengers 1
when they took him from Avengers 1, he was a fuck up. Like he was the bad guy. Yeah. And then I think, was it even in the first episode? Like he saw everything that happened and he's like, well, that sucks. I guess I better be good. And so like that happened too fast. Like he was instantly Loki from Endgame.
It takes him a couple episodes though. I mean, he still does try and backstab and finagle, and it's not until like episode 4 or so where
did that Loki from Ragnarok. He's always like that technically.
Yeah. I just feel like they moved him forward into a hero role a little too fast too. That would probably be one of the biggest complaints that I have, and what probably affected the show the most for me, in a negative way.
Okay. Well, I feel like Alex has a stronger opinion about this than I do, so I'll go next and say that I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it.
Every single person has said that. I didn't hate it. Like
that's no, I'm a little. I mean, Pete's like, I didn't hate it. Can't wait for season 2. Like, well, that means you liked it. So I won't be as ambiguous on this. I feel like you were trying to jam too much, pretty much important story into a smaller package. It's just kind of confusing. I think, probably a watch through again would definitely help make it a little clearer and understanding, especially in a binge fashion. I can imagine why that would work. But at the same time, it's like I don't really have any motivation to go back and watch it. So it's like, maybe I'll just wait for season 2. Maybe I'll wait till that's coming out, then rewatch it then, and maybe that'll help. But I don't know. I didn't have high expectations, but I had higher expectations than what I felt it met after, Falcon Winter Soldier. I didn't really take Mandalorian into account, but WandaVision and Winter Soldier, you kind of have those idea of like, okay, here's what they're doing with their television. So Loki, again, I thought we were going to see, like we talked before, a lot more like mischief, a lot more him, something more interesting than just immediately into this depressing looking office space. So it's like, I didn't hate it, but definitely it's the third on my list for sure. I imagine that whatever show comes out next will take its place, and this will be 4th on my list. But
What If is next.
Yeah,
this is 4th on my list then. Just based off the trailers. That the trailers are already better.
Great.
What If is going to be fun, but what if has the advantage of not being really tied down, right? They can do whatever.
In one episode. It's just a hypothetical. Animated hypothetical.
It's fun.
So, all right, Alex, your turn, sir.
I didn't hate it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's like I did hate it.
I kind of did. Like
Yeah,
I
you
really
kinda did.
I really kind of did.
We've seen that look before.
I liked the show at the beginning. I thought the first two episodes were really good. And then after that, it just fell apart for me. The love story was super weird. Like in episode 6, like right before it happened, because they were like looking at each other, I was like, don't kiss. And then they kissed. And I was like, fuck this show. Like, it was just like, that's so weird.
So reminiscent of DC.
It reminded me of the Rey and Kylo kiss. I was like, why is this fucking happening? Like, it's just so weird. And then I don't know. I wasn't as blown away by Jonathan Majors as the rest of you were, I guess. I thought he was just kind of weird and didn't really. And I know that he's not Kang technically. He is a variant of, but like he didn't give me vibes of like, this is the next big bad in the MCU. This is the next Thanos or something like that. He's just kind of like this weird twitchy nerd sitting at the end of time watching everything.
But that's exactly what he is. So like, but what he does say is effectively that if they kill him, the bad guy, the
other ones
bad
will,
versions of him are coming. Right.
Yeah, no, I get
So
that. And I know that he's not
the bad guy.
I know that. And I understand that he's not Kang proper, or, you know, one of the Kangs that is, there's 8 billion versions of him, but
yeah.
I don't know. I just was kind of like, that whole scene was like the architect scene from Matrix Reloaded. It was just a bunch of talking and it was very uninteresting to me. I was just like, okay, like they didn't really establish anything super new. And my biggest concern at this point going forward is that they can basically do whatever they want and just explain it away with like, oh, timeline stuff, which is what DC does when their shit's all wackadoo. They're like different timelines, different universes, different Earths. And I'm just like, I'm hoping they don't use it as a crutch, basically.
Well, I know that after the end of Loki, I read something that Feige sat everybody down and said there are very specific rules for what they're doing with
I've heard
time
that
travel.
too. I heard the same thing. I just hope they don't go too nuts with it. Marvel movies, as weird as they are, of course they're weird. Like a giant purple alien with a golden glove comes to Earth to collect rocks and destroy half the universe, or whatever. Like, I get that Marvel is fucking out of left field, but it also has always felt really grounded.
Yeah.
As weird as it gets. Even like stuff like when Guardians of the Galaxy came out and like no one knew who these guys were. Obviously everyone does now. Like even that, in all of its sort of silliness and campiness, still felt really rooted, and the characters really made you care. And I don't want them to lose that and just go like super wacky.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a fear for the future. We'll see. I know Marvel has a great track record. I'm sure they'll do good shit.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Doctor Strange and maybe Ant-Man will kind of close that door.
Yeah,
so this is
he's
like
in Ant-Man, Jonathan Majors.
Yeah,
he's already been confirmed.
That was a while ago, actually. I'm hoping that the whole like multiverse isn't the next 8 or 10 years. Let it open and then close and have that set up what happens next. But
yeah,
they don't
have
need
that
to
be
keep
like
having
one
variants for
I don't know, man. There was a lot of things in this episode that I was like, I don't like what they're doing.
We have a whole slate of familiar faces coming in the next couple of years, so I feel like the storytelling will kind of get a little bit more familiar once those start coming out. So Strange, Spider-Man, Thor. I mean,
yeah, those will be fun, I'm sure. I do have one thing that I'm a little confused about, and I'm sure they'll explain it away at some point or another. But at the end of the episode, when Loki goes back and they don't recognize him, signifying that he's in a different timeline, the TVA doesn't have versions in other timelines. The whole idea of the TVA is that it monitors all timelines, and there's only one. And so that was a little confusing to me. I was kind of like,
they did show that I think it's because he went back and overthrew the TVA, though.
Is that what they're hinting at? I know there's the Kang
statues
statue.
Are him.
Yeah, I saw the Kang statue. Is that what they're hinting at? That he changed everything already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's what they're saying, then that makes, I guess, a little bit more sense. But it just was really confusing in the moment. I was like, wait.
Plus, all the people there are all variants, and so they don't have the memory of the ones that were there before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a number of. I'm sure they'll explain it away, but I did not like this show. It is 6th for me. Whatever else comes out between this and
next few.
Yeah,
this is the last one in the lineup of all Marvel shows.
Yeah, man. It was really, I was looking forward to it, and it really started very well, in my opinion, and it just fell off a cliff. Episode 3 really was, I don't think any of us liked that episode. That was the side quest episode. That was super boring. And then for me, it never recovered. Like it just
never recovered.
Didn't have legs after that. I agree with Kevin. Like, he didn't feel like the Loki that he should have been, regardless of, images he saw on a projector. Yeah. Like if that Loki from Avengers 1 saw all of that happen and then was like, oh, well, I dodged that bullet tight. Like, I don't think he would be affected
I think the only thing that would have affected him really was seeing his mom die.
Of course.
I think that would have affected him.
Yeah.
But to me, I think he would have done everything in his power to get out of there to stop that. Like, how he never tried to stop that and just fell in line with what everybody else was doing was probably the most baffling thing about his character to me.
Yeah, he recognized that he couldn't do much, but I still feel like he would have tried a little harder. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't even think that it was the watching of the stuff. I mean, I think that played a part, but I think it was the sheer lack of ability to do anything with his powers and the fact that they were using Infinity Stones as paperweights. I think all of those things contributed to his quick change. I don't think that just the video alone would have moved him. I think he had to feel truly helpless.
Oh yeah,
which he was.
His reality was suddenly fucked up.
Yeah, he was completely trapped. They had him. There was nothing he could do. They proved that over and over and over again to him. So I think that's what facilitated the quick change. And I totally hear what you guys are saying, but
he's like, but I don't agree at all.
I think also part of that was
stupid.
Yeah.
I think part of that
I knew that, but that doesn't have anything to do with this.
I think part of that was also just the mechanic to try and get him back to Endgame Loki. Or not Endgame Loki.
Well, we didn't need Endgame Loki. That's the thing. Like,
he was dead already.
Yeah. No, I mean,
you meant Infinity War Loki.
Yeah. I just think he's. I think it was a miss on the characterization.
Agreed.
Because I just think if they took that version of it,
it's a piece of shit. Anything negative, I agree with you, sir. Here. I second the motion.
Worst show ever. No,
I will say that
that's definitely not true.
even though I didn't hate it, it's still my third. I definitely would put WandaVision in.
IMDb's given it an 8.5. I'm calling bullshit.
Everybody loves it, and that's why I feel like I'm crazy, because I'm just like,
no, I totally get what you're saying. I feel like
you can't wait for that second season.
No, I can't, because I want to see where the story goes now. They did cliffhanger enough that I'm very interested to see what they do with it and how it all fits together.
Hearing what you guys have been saying about the fact that this show is essentially chopped in half does make a little bit more sense. Like, it did feel at times like it was a little like it was missing something, or like maybe some things might have been reworked, or like it was the only Marvel show so far that didn't have some sort of closure at the end, which I think was, I mean, I'm fine with cliffhangers, but usually I'm fine with them when we know, like, I'm fine with the Infinity War cliffhanger because Endgame's coming out next year. Like, we don't know when Loki season 2 is coming out. And so I don't know. It left me unsatisfied because I liked the feeling of, like, at the end of WandaVision, as shitty as the finale was, because it definitely was, like, with the air laser beam fights, but it wasn't really about that. It was about her personal closure about Vision and all that kind of stuff. And that was satisfying to me. Same with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, his closure with accepting the shield, and Bucky's closure with accepting what he's done and feeling remorse and telling people, they all felt like cool. Like that was a nice way to wrap this all up, and just didn't have that for me, which was sad.
Okay, dokie. So Loki is put to bed for now. We'll see what happens in the future with that, since we do know for sure it's coming back. Moving on to our franchises. So we only got 2 this week. We got David with Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then Kevin with 007. I think we should start off with David, since I think we've all seen Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, you don't want to end on a good note?
Yeah, I can go first because mine's gonna be real fast.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember what you didn't even remember.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a James Bond movie. It was bad. The end.
I found a couple of notes that I had that just were like what made it fucking cringy, but otherwise I don't remember.
All right, if you want to go first, Kevin, by all means.
Did James Bond kiss a female version of himself?
Yeah.
No, God, he would do way more.
That would have made it.
He would do way more to himself.
Yeah, that's totally fair. He totally would have.
He would rape the shit out of himself. Yeah, so dude, so okay, so one of the things, it opens up, it's all about like the space mission, right? So there's this US space capsule flying overhead, and they're doing some weird 1960s futuristic space stuff, right? And then this bigger pod comes up behind it and literally opens up the tip like a shark and eats the US space capsule and then flies away. It is the fucking Austin Powers-ish shit.
I'd say that's the most Dr. Evil thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. And like
I do remember getting a text. You were just saying these are just actual Austin Powers movies.
Dude, like really, like
these are the parodies of Austin Powers.
Doesn't this have the villain who actually has the cat and he has the scar?
Yeah, at one point he does. Yeah, the number one from Spectre.
Yeah.
Has the cat, and you never see his face. Like he's always behind a wall. So you can't see his face. He's got the cat.
Yeah.
But then it opens up. Bond is he's on assignment in China for reasons, and he's with a Chinese girl that he's banging, and he looks at her and he says, and this is so bad. He says, "Why do Chinese women taste different from other women?"
Jesus Christ!
And then he kisses her. I rewound it like 3 times. I was like, "What the fuck did he just say?" Like I was like, wow.
Is it Chinese or Japanese?
So everything is about Japan, but he's in China because they're the same place, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just reading the synopsis. It says Secret Agent James Bond and the Chinese or the Japanese Secret Service must find and stop the true culprit of a series of space hijackings. A series of them. Their ship being launched all the time in the late 60s.
You don't build a space shark for just one mission.
Right. Yeah. That motherfucker is eating. He's like the great white of space.
Can you imagine pitching that? It's like, so what do you want to build? All right, so it's this big rocket that opens up and eats other rockets. What?
So dumb. So dumb. And so and then to get him over to Japan, they fake Bond's death. I can't remember what they do to make it look like he died.
But they fake his death in China. Did they do it last time?
No, this time they shoot him. They have the blood. What do they call them? In special effects when they pop. Anyways, the fake blood. So it looks like he's been shot. They do a whole funeral for him. They do a burial at sea. So they put him in a casket, throw him down into the ocean. He stinks to the bottom of the ocean. And then a fucking submarine comes by and picks him up, opens the casket when they bring him in, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm ready." And he's in full full naval dress. Like they've never ever said that he's in the Navy, but they call him Admiral or some shit like that. Like you're just like, what? And then fucking Moneypenny is on the submarine because apparently she has, she travels everywhere that Bond wants to go, even though she's just a secretary for somebody else. Like it's so dumb. And then and so I don't remember most of what happened because I was laughing so hard and somehow bored at the same time. Nice. But then the only last note that I have really was that at one point God, it's just such a fucking racist movie. But at one point they said they try to make Bond to look Japanese.
I was just gonna ask you about that. I saw a picture and his hair is like all slicked down.
Yeah, and they put like a shitty black wig on him and they put a little bit of makeup on him, and he looks exactly the same. But they're like, he's hella Japanese, and I'm like, no, dude.
Yikes.
It's so bad. And then stuff happens, and then he ends up banging some girl at the end and saves the day. And that's really my review. You Only Live Twice. It's so bad. So bad. I'm so excited for the next one. I'm sure it won't be racist or rapey at all.
Man.
Almost there, buddy.
Connery.
Oh,
Sean.
two
No, it's
more.
not
Just
almost
two
there.
more,
I have
right?
2 more.
That's
Yeah,
almost
two
there.
more.
You've watched like 5.
Yeah, feels
You're
like I
almost-
watched 50.
You're
I
almost
should
there.
just watch Austin Powers again. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like it really is. There's so much that happened in these last 2 movies where
Yeah.
they're just like, I was like, it's
Yeah.
not like it's just inspired. Like it's not
It's
even
a
that like this
direct.
inspired Austin Powers. It's like they just took scenes that they thought were ridiculous and reshot them. Like it's crazy.
Well, that's like on the movie Airplane. It's like a shot for shot almost remake of the movie 1979, I think it's called. And but it's like the dialogue is the same lines, and it's really interesting. I saw this YouTube video about it. They show that put it side by side, and it's like, yeah, it's just the delivery and the circumstances they changed a bit, but ultimately it's a lot of the same exact dialogue. It's hilarious. But
That's
this was a total
crazy.
drama. 1979 was this drama about an airplane crash.
Hmm.
So it's interesting. So all right, well, 2 more to go, and then you get to spin and watch you pick up Friday the 13th.
No, I'll probably get Roger Moore Bond or not Roger Moore.
No, it's already taken.
Timothy
It's already-
Dalton.
the only one left is Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce is the only one. And there's
That's
at least
last.
like one good one in there.
Goldfinger. It's the first one.
Goldeneye.
Mm-hmm.
Goldeneye.
Goldeneye's
Goldeneye.
fantastic.
All right, David. So on to you for the classics. I'm looking forward to the first 3 of these reviews.
Yep.
I'm actually
I
looking
have-
I'm looking
forward
forward to the
to the
fourth.
4th. Yeah, me too.
I listened to this guy review the fucking horror movies that he did, so I'm stoked for number 4.
Yeah, we're gonna
But we've
love
seen-
Kingdom.
But here's the thing: you hadn't seen those Paranormal Activity films. You've seen. Crystal
It's honestly
Skull,
been so long. I saw it
didn't.
once in theater. I probably won't remember.
I
saw it
remember
once in
every
theaters, and-
shitty bit about that movie. why
But
it's
But
so
see,
fucking
David's gonna
stupid.
make it sound good. He's gonna make it sound like I should
And
go
then-
rewatch it.
Shia LaBeouf starts swinging through the trees with the
Yeah.
monkeys.
He's
And it's-
outrunning the Jeep from
Yeah.
the trees. The monkey. Oh,
I'm
God.
already excited. Skip the
Yeah.
other 3. Let's go straight to Kingdom.
Yeah, yeah.
I
actually
We know what happens in the
contemplated,
first
like,
three. That's-
Go in
really
reverse. Go in
counting,
reverse in this one.
So I sat down to take notes while watching this, and my note says Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then I wrote nothing beyond that.
Why do you need
I-
to? You don't
That's
need
what
to.
I felt. I was like, I'm just gonna watch the goddamn movie, right?
You
Like,
don't
what's-
remember? Okay,
Yeah.
so I think it opens up in a jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So what I did enjoy about this movie is I hadn't seen it in a long time. But when you go back and you watch it, you recognize all of the areas they shot this film in being used in later films or being stolen from earlier films. So like the opening scene when he's running from all of the natives and he's trying to make it to the river to get to the plane to escape.
Yeah.
He's running across the field that they use in Jurassic Park, where they see all the Brontos for the first time.
Oh, really?
It's clearly the exact same location.
That's cool.
So you watch it and I go, oh wait, where are the dinosaurs? Like, was the first thing that rolled through my brain when I watched that. And then later they do a bunch of stuff in Tunisia, and I was like, this is straight. They just stole Star Wars. Like, this is like where they shoot R2D2 and like he like and falls over the Jawas. So I was like, Jesus, like it's kind of crazy to go back and watch that. But the rope swing thing was super fun for me because I went to Kauai, like, I don't know, it was like probably 10 years ago at this point. But we did an ATV tour and they take you to the location where that was shot and they have the rope. And you can swing on the rope out in
when he
so-
rope swings onto the plane or
there is
in
no
the beginning?
plane, and like when you see it in person you can see the whole thing, but you know they actually mat behind the plane to make the river look twice as wide as it actually is. But that was fun. The movie is great. I mean, the opening scene is iconic. I mean, so much so that they built a whole goddamn ride about it at Disneyland, right?
Basically.
So you guys will have to forgive me. I got a cough, and the more I talk, the more it gets worse. And,
Yeah, it's not from that sharing of food by chance,
Definitely
is it?
no, that's exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Fever, buddy? You have a fever?
no fever, no nothing. Just literally
Can you
just
smell-
a cough,
can
and
you
it's
smell
really
it?
has been nothing all day until I've been talking a lot, and now
Oh, okay.
it's pissed at me. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So You get the initial scene where he gets in and he tries to steal the thing, and he gets out.
Idol.
The other
Army idol
archaeologist who steals it away from him, and over the course of the film, that just keeps happening. Like that other.
That's Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah,
it's
Dr.
young
Octopus.
ass
Really?
Alfred Molina, that
Yeah.
young guy in the beginning who steals it and then he gets killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that I knew. I'm talking about the actual, because he gets it back from that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other
Oh,
archaeologist.
Belloc.
Yeah, Belloc. That guy.
That's not Alfred Molina.
No, I was like, that doesn't track for me.
I see the confusion now. I get it.
So yeah, I mean, you get introduced to the good characters in this film. Although I never cared for the female lead in this.
Karen Allen.
Karen Allen is, yeah.
She felt like a miscast to me. Even to this day, I watch it and I go, she's just.
Just wait for the fourth.
No, that's not to the fourth one. That's what she is, a huge miscast.
It's the fourth one. It compounds and you realize, oh God, she was a miscast from the beginning.
I liked her, and I didn't see it.
Yeah, she never did it for me. I just always thought that her performance kind of felt like she was like smiling and laughing the whole time, even when bad things were happening. And I don't know, I just never got from her a performance that I enjoyed.
Wait for this love interest in Temple of Doom, and you'll love Karen Allen after that.
Oh no, I remember that. Temple of Doom, I don't remember really being my favorite. I remember it being fairly boring and having a really.
I think you're thinking of everybody's opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I finished this film and I remembered the old meme that went around the internet for a while about how ultimately Indiana Jones has no effect on this film.
Yeah.
If he'd stayed home and eaten a sandwich, the results would have been the exact same at the very end.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just, watching it through, I was like, it's pretty goddamn true. I mean, obviously it's an oversimplification of things, but Indiana Jones really is not all that cool in this one. The opening scene, he's really cool, and then later he spends most of the time getting his ass kicked or running away from bad guys. His coolest thing is when the guy does the sword flippy and he just like pulls the gun and shoots him. Like that's like his best.
I love the story behind that though.
One of the best ad-libbed scenes of all time. Not ad-libbed, but
because he
improv.
had to take a shit.
No, he had like the flu.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And he just didn't want to do it.
He's just like, screw this. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I tried real hard to get my daughter to watch it with me, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm just not interested." So
really,
oh, that's a bummer. It's a great film.
I thought so too.
It's never too late to give them up for adoption.
Yeah. It is too late. She's like at the point where she's gonna like take all my money, so I need to be nice.
Well, now you really need to get on the adoption thing, then.
Yeah.
So I'm not particularly looking forward to the next one. I am gonna watch it. I plan on being bored. I vaguely remember they jump out of an airplane and use the raft as a parachute and then surf it through the sand. And then eventually they get to the temple.
Not sand.
The dunes.
Snow.
I know.
They land on snow.
I don't even remember. I remember they eat monkey brains at some point. I remember it being very boring through the middle. Then the cool heart rip out scene.
The heart rip out scene is cool.
And then I also remember that the best part of the whole movie was Short Round, and that was it.
Indeed.
Yeah, I never minded the second one. It was probably years and years after the third one was out, even that I started hearing people not liking the second one. Because the second one I feel like I saw a couple times in the theater. I was at that age when it came out. So, but
I think it just became like the default least liked one because
especially after the third one.
Raiders and Crusade are so good. Yeah,
Crusade is so good. That is hands down my favorite one.
Easy,
the best one in the trilogy. So
for sure.
I've seen Raiders. I watch Raiders regularly, almost like every year. But I honestly haven't seen Temple of Doom, and it's been a very, very long time.
Same.
So I should probably go back and watch this.
Long ass time either. So, Last Crusade I've seen a lot. I watched that one usually just out of order. You don't really even need the other ones to enjoy that film.
No, the nice thing is they're all very standalone in that sense. Like as long as you understand who Indiana Jones is, like you're good, which is great. Because Temple is technically a prequel, but it wasn't. If I remember right, the story is it wasn't filmed as one. They decided to make it one after, and then they were like, it still works. Like that, it was just, and they're like, okay, like that was just. That's how standalone they are. You can just do whatever you want with them. It's pretty cool.
Well, then, I guess that leads us to the end of the episode.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's all we've got to say about that. So, so next week, I guess Ted Lasso. We'll be discussing the probably first couple episodes, I guess, at that point of Ted Lasso.
Yeah, now that I know it's out, I'll make a point to see both episodes before next week.
I'm trying to decide if I want to wait, because when I first watched it was when the first season had already ended. When I got to binge it, it was really enjoyable that way, that I almost feel like I want to wait and not watch any of them and be able to binge it again like that.
I'd like to, but that ain't
for
going to
you.
happen.
That's not going to happen
I'm
in
not
this
going to be
house.
able to handle it. I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
That's my control.
And still going through Kevin Can Fuck Himself.
Oh yeah.
It's really picking up.
Has he done it yet? Has he fucked himself?
Well, it depends on which Kevin you're talking about. But so that's going well. There's a bunch of shows starting to come out too now, so I feel like there's going to be a steady stream of content to start picking up on.
What else is coming out?
I don't think anybody has yet, but I just want to check before we end. Did anyone watch Space Jam?
Oh God,
No.
My
I
kids want to.
I thought for sure.
You all have kids, so I'm just asking because you might
my
have
girls
had to.
definitely want to.
Yeah.
But no.
Okay, just checking. I can't wait to hear about that.
Hope we said not in this fucking house.
I feel like the only way we're going to get someone to watch that is if it's on the punishment wheel, like how how Kevin's supposed to watch Cats.
There you go.
I don't recall that at all.
I think Jungle Cruise is coming out before we record next.
I'm indifferent about that one. Like I think going in expecting it to be, kind of ridiculous in that sense might make it better. But if it falls short of that, then it's going to be.
It could be really bad.
It has the risk of being very, very bad. Like some of the trailers, I'm like,
but it's kind of like I feel the same way about it as I did when the first, the first remake of Jumanji, when that preview came out. I was kind of like, okay,
that's fair.
Okay,
yeah, the movie ended up being great. That could be
bad. Yeah, it ended up being great. So
that's fair.
Okay, so I'll be indifferent on this until we see.
Totes. And I know Snake Eyes came out.
Yeah, I was going to say, did anybody
absolutely destroyed.
Oh, is it really? I thought I had seen a decent review of it.
I saw the preview for when I saw Black Widow.
It's a 42% on Rotten, a 43 on Metacritic, and a 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb. It's getting destroyed.
Oh,
okay. Wow. It's the best G.I. Joe movie so far.
Yeah,
basically.
That's true. No, I was really excited
on the Transformers scale.
I was really excited about this at first.
Of course,
actually, because that was
I can see that.
because I read I read the G.I. Joe comics when I was a kid, and that storyline, the whole Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, Scarlet Triangle, and how Storm Shadow turned over to be a good G.I. Joe.
Nobody knows what you're talking about, dude.
I know.
Nobody knows.
I do.
And I'm speaking for the audience.
But
I remember
that storyline was like
go fuck yourself.
A cool storyline that ran throughout that comic, and I had hoped they were just going to kind of adapt that, and it looks like they kept some of the elements, but from the first trailer I saw that I was like, great, this is going to be fucking shitty. I was not. When I first heard they were going to make it, I was like, cool. And then you see the trailer, and I'm like, not cool. And I like what's his bucket who plays Snake Eyes.
He's the guy from the Crazy Rich Asians.
He played. No, that's the name of the character. He was also in a movie This Christmas with.
Amelia Last Christmas, right? Wasn't it called?
Last Christmas. Has anybody else ever seen that?
Yeah,
I've heard it's really good. I haven't watched it.
It was
decent.
I thought it was
wasn't
really
bad.
cool.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I didn't get
really good as strong, but it was enjoyable.
You're like, not quite that good.
I wouldn't watch it again.
All right. Well, it seems like there is going to start. I mean, like,
Eternals
everything. kind of going back to normal, not totally, but more than it's been in a long time. I think more
Did
things are
anybody
going to
see
start
A
coming
Quiet
out.
Place 2?
Yes,
David did.
I did.
I know that. And then you did too, Opie?
I saw it. Yeah.
Okay. I haven't watched it yet.
I think I talked about. I feel like I talked about it in the last show. Not the
Yeah, I
thing,
can't
but how
remember.
I signed up for Paramount Plus,
Yeah.
watched it, and then canceled my subscription immediately because there's nothing else on there. There's fucking nothing else on Paramount Plus. And
It's
when I
just
say
Unless you like
nothing,
Star Trek.
It's
Unless you like
just
Star
one
Trek.
tile.
it just like I was like, oh well, I get it for a week for free. Is there anything else I want to watch? I'm like, nope, nothing. And then so when I canceled it, they're like, hey, how about a month for free then? I'm like, still not gonna watch shit on this, so I canceled it.
Star
So
Trek.
I watched A Quiet Place 2 and then canceled it.
Yeah, if you're not a Star Trek fan, that's literally the only thing on there is Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I watched it.
Cool.
It's good. Yeah, it's interesting. I fell asleep a little bit, but I think it's just tired.
There you go. That tells you all you need to know.
That's all you
Right.
need to know. I mean, if you like the first one, you'll like the second one, in my opinion. It's just kind of more of the same.
Well, I know David wasn't too hot on it.
No,
Yeah,
I thought the
It
first
wasn't-
one was
I mean-
a lot better. I thought the second one just felt like a cheap money grab.
well, that's
I totally
I mean, the
heard
first one
Frozen
definitely
was
for
a lot
sure.
better.
I don't know. Frozen 2 is pretty good.
God damn.
I mean, if you're just going, not even for an animated, if you're just going straight movie as sequels, like it's pretty strong. Stacks up against the first one, in my opinion. I mean, they're both great. Don't get me wrong. I say what the second one as a sequel goes, I think it's a great representation and continuation of the story and the development of those characters.
Yeah. My wife is producing a show at the college right now. It's a cabaret. Someone else directed it, so she's just producing it, making sure it happens. And so I went and saw it last night, and they had a Frozen number. And even though the performers did well, I clapped 3 times, and that was it. She looked at me, and I was like, "It's a Frozen number. That is the maximum number of claps I can give it."
I wouldn't have clapped at all. I would have booed him.
Well,
Boo.
I was trying to be respectful. They're
Tangled is
college
better.
students.
That's what I would have done.
What
But,
song did they do?
It was I don't know, the one she sings when they're about to open the gates and she's all excited, the first time in forever song.
Yeah.
Mm.
In the first, for the first time in forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was terrible. The song was terrible. They sang it well, but I don't like. It's Frozen.
That's crazy. It's a
Doesn't
great.
make any sense.
I-
I don't know. I
it
don't understand
makes
how you
perfect
do
sense.
It makes so much sense.
It makes no sense.
I feel like watching it right now.
Right?
Fun.
Well, then we
Yeah.
should probably end this show. Bye, people.
I'm gonna
All
go
right, so
watch
yeah.
every other movie except for Frozen in the
Yeah,
world.
dude, you have a bunch of
Including
singing
that.
in your future, so buckle in. You're gonna
Yeah,
wish
High
it was
School
Frozen.
Musical.
Yeah.
I honestly would probably watch those over Frozen.
I hope they make a third Frozen just to put it on the wheel.
Now they will, and now I'll get it because
Yeah.
you said that.
Because the Disney execs are listening, they'll yes,
Oh,
exactly.
We've
They're
gotten
basically
permission.
there, so
OP
I
has
ha-
given us permission.
Now I haven't seen it, and we haven't talked about it. So maybe next week, if any of us have seen it, we can talk about it. But Monsters at Work, I heard
I
it's
talked
good.
about it.
Alex
We talked about
Did
it.
you?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes. The first one was
Okay.
really great,
I
and the
think that's
second
when
one
you
I
were
fell
gone.
asleep.
Okay.
Oh, did
I think-
he
I think that was we talked about during the
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
during the
that might
Opie
be-
Exodus? It
Yeah.
might.
Yeah.
I thought he was here. It doesn't matter.
Maybe.
But
No,
yeah,
I was present for that one.
yeah. So I didn't think that was the case. It doesn't matter. It's cute.
It's
I-
somewhere in the archives of our show.
I would
apparently.
recommend
Yeah.
it.
All right.
And
All right. Well, I plan on watching it. Just haven't gotten
Yeah.
around to it.
I
Watched
wanna
all
watch-
those Pixar popcorn though.
is Luca still a premium charge or is that free?
Luca never
I think
was.
Luca was always
yeah,
free.
that was always free.
Okay, I didn't know. I
They better
didn't.
not charge for that one.
I didn't look very good. I haven't watched.
It's
it
not
yet, but-
horrible, but it's like it seemed like why?
Well, if you
Why
already
is it
watched it,
made?
then I'm not going to bother.
Why is it made? I mean,
I
it's
can
not
tell
bad.
you that it came out and I was at Disneyland and there was almost no merch for it. So I
Yeah.
don't think they had any.
I didn't even realize. I'm like, oh, this is a new Pixar film. This is
It doesn't look like it at all. Like it doesn't look
Yeah,
like their
it's-
quality of
again,
animation.
There's some laughs in it. It's entertaining, but it's not like I don't know. It's, if you have time, I guess, sure, watch it.
So after all this, I think that the moral of this conversation is by next week we're all going to watch and talk about Space Jam. That's what I've heard after this conversation ended.
I didn't hear
No,
that
that's
at
definitely
all.
what we're gonna do. You go watch it.
You go
No,
ahead
no,
and-
not you,
I'll
Kevin. You're
watch
gonna
it.
watch Cats. You have your own homework.
That seems
Oh, look
like
at
it's not going to
him
happen.
hounding you on watching Cats.
I
Talking about
know.
a fucking hypocrite. You're like, Cats? What
It
Cats? I
literally
can't
wasn't
find it
watchable
anywhere.
for like months
No,
when you guys
and
gave
it
that
was
to me.
and it was watchable for months, and you're still like, no, I don't need to watch that.
What
We
is the current
we have
status? for
audio
Cats?
recordings
Do you
of
watch
those
for free
conversations.
somewhere?
I know we do.
What'd you say,
I'm sure
David?
it's not streaming anywhere.
What?
I'm not
It's not on
paying for that
HBO
shit.
anymore?
I'll tell you that right now.
Cats
Was
is
it
on
on
HBO.
I was gonna say I found it on
Figure
HBO.
it out. I'll put some work
A
into it.
movie
I'll
like
let
Cats
you
is
know.
probably
If
free
we
to
have
stream
buy
on
it, I'll send
multiple
them the
networks.
money.
So
Yeah,
like,
you can-
please, anybody watch
You can
this.
stream on YouTube with no ads, just all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like that YouTube album Apple gave you. Look on your phone; it's probably in your downloads.
Just automatically.
iTunes
You're like,
just
"Oh,
gave it
no."
to you.
Cats
right.
is not streaming anywhere free right now.
Are you sure?
Yeah. That's a
Oh.
real bummer.
Yeah,
If you
you
get
sound like-
Is it on
Cinemax, you can watch it.
Are you reading the transcript from a show from like a year
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah.
In Alex's lines.
How much is it on Apple? I'll just,
It doesn't matter. You
I'll
can't even
send it
rent it on
mine.
Apple. You can
I'll put
only
a.
buy
I'll
it
put
on
a. good.
Apple.
I'll
literally
put,
can't
I'll
rent
It'll be
it on
available
Apple.
for rent October 1st.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
perfect.
not
It
even
seems like a
available to
Halloween
rent
movie.
yet.
It's,
You know,
No.
no,
Yeah,
we gotta.
you,
You know,
can buy it for
bury the lead on this a
$14.99.
bit.
cool.
Yeah.
I will send you $14.99.
oh my god!
cool. I will buy something really great with that.
No,
Like,
what you
that's like
do?
a week of coffee.
See,
Yeah.
what you should do, David, what you can't, but is I'll just go on there, buy it on the iTunes, and just send it to him. So he
We
can't.
should all just
spend
buy
the money
physical
haphazardly.
copies and mail it to him.
Yeah.
All
I-
of
I
us,
did-
though. He'll get like four.
I
It'll
can-
be different
4 copies.
editions.
Do you have a Walmart near you with the bargain bin? Because that's the only place you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm gonna go get a cat and like do a little butthole imprint on the.
It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those DVDs where half of it, the cover has half of it shows cats, the other half is like showgirls.
And I'll watch Showgirls first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to get yourself going.
Yeah, just
for
warm
some
up a
real
bit.
Pussy.
All right then.
I feel like the end of this episode has gotten way off track.
Yeah, we need to go
It's a-
before
hey, you brought
something
up
really
cats.
bad happens. You brought up Frozen. It's your fault. I
right,
thought we
I'm
were
just
just
gonna
talking
say-
about the worst movies ever made, so I just kept going with it. You know.
Oh, we're bringing up 1984 now. Is that what we're doing? All right. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Hope you'll listen next week. We'll have some. I plan to watch some Lethal Weapon between now and then, so maybe I'll finish that off and spend next week because the next two kind of go hand in hand as well. So we will talk to you next week. Then. Bye. Okay. And The Last of Us. What's The Last of Us?
Oh my fucking god!
Did you finish it, David?
No.
You fucking slacker. I started it after you and I finished it. Don't
you
use
really?
Disneyland as an excuse.
Hey, he doesn't have, younger
His
I
child is
have-
old enough to neglect.
Yeah, I have really
Right,
been
so-
taking my time. Like I wander
Yeah.
all over the place. Like if I've gotta like take out a bunch of guys stealthily, I will scope all the angles and like figure. I'm so slow. I am not
That's
fast.
fine. Take your time.
Yeah. What difficulty are you playing on?
Just whatever the normal is. I just
So I think it's normal. Is actually what it's called.
It's just called normal.
Yeah.
It's
I
just-
did mine on easy because I just wanted to do the story. That was cool.
yeah. I
done-
usually
I've
just
done
go with
grounded.
normal. I find that that's like usually my skill level. If I go above that, I'll start getting frustrated and pissed. Unless the game is like stupid easy. But if I go below that, I'll just be bored. So.
Yeah. If you want to know what rage and self-hate is, play it on grounded.
I don't know
It's
what
not that
does,
bad.
but I'm gonna. Say
It
I
just
probably
it
might.
really really limits your resources. So the way
Yeah,
that
is
you
the
play,
biggest thing.
you'd probably be totally fine. Like just what you told me right now.
Oh, I mean, right
Yeah.
now as I walk around, almost everything's full. I can't even pick anything.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
yeah.
You'd struggle in the beginning because the enemies are stronger and they like see you faster.
Yeah.
But once you really, if you took your time enough,
And it takes away your like radar thing too. You can't.
Oh yeah, you're
see
listening
through
mode.
walls and stuff.
Oh, that's my favorite part. Like that, I've got that jacked all the way to the top, so
Yeah.
I can hear people wicked far away.
Yeah.
That's where I've been spending most of my stuff.
Popping your pills.
That's right.
What game is this?
Welcome to the all. No.
I don't see. I'm sorry, Alex. I don't see any. I don't see any High School Musical.
I don't know why you would. I don't have that franchise.
Oh, you most certainly do.
Yeah.
Don't make me play the audio. You know what's not on here is the Austin Powers movies.
You're right.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, 50 Shades would have been awesome.
Fucking
High School Musical.
You know, dude, you can knock all three of them out in an afternoon. They're only like 90 minutes.
I know that I can, and I've actually been thinking that I might do that. I haven't even looked for them yet. I don't know if they're anywhere.
They're on
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Oh, are they Disney owned?
It's
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah.
It's a
I
Disney
didn't-
product.
I don't
Yeah.
know that. I literally
That's
know
why
nothing
High
about
School
these.
Nice
Musical,
cover.
the musical, the series is on Disney Plus.
My daughter
I
was
also
watching
didn't
that
know
today.
was
She
a thing.
spent literally all day laying on the couch watching that show on her phone. I was like,
My-
why? And she was like,
Yeah.
it's here.
My kids watch it too.
I was actually thinking that I might just fucking kill it and just be done with it, but then I'm just worried about what I'll get next. So
yeah, I know.
I haven't
Yeah.
yeah, we have plenty to
This-
talk about. I'll
this
get
is kinda-
to at least one of them by next week for sure.
This is
is
seriously
it-
like
is it-
purgatory.